in for the last month or two, I think.
Okay, so you just started using it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm using some of the like the string finder stuff, like just to find out the parts of the team, like what they thought about certain things, but not so much within our kind of our workflow process.
Okay. Okay. So this session is basically like an introduction for MPS, and then how you can use MPS within an agile environment. That's the second part. So, and please give me feedback. We're only like you three guys, so just give me feedback, like if I should go faster or if I should skip something because you already know that, or is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah? Awesome. Perfect. Okay. So this is a brown bag. So usually, like, I should go that way because she wants to record me. Okay, that's okay. No problem. Is that better?
Yep.
Good. What was my point? My point was, this is a brown bag session. I was expecting more people having lunch actually. So I already had lunch. So lunch makes me very tired, usually. Like, like a soup coma after lunch, going into coma, soup coma? Okay. And this actually reminds me that I'm actually sometimes tired of being an agile coach. So that's what I usually do. Like, I'm an agile coach, I'm an agile trainer, agile consultant. So that's my profession, what I do, so for a living, yeah. So, and sometimes I'm really tired about that. So, and sometimes what I really want to do is, I want to open a cinema, but like really cool cinema. So like not those big fancy cinemas, like a nice cozy cinema. So actually that would be the name, like cozy cinema, CC or something. Okay. So and my logo would be a sofa. Okay, because you won't have like those ugly cheap seats like in the big ones and so on. You have sofas, like really relaxed things where you can actually put up your leg rest. Okay, so you're really relaxed watching movies, and the movies are really like those are exceptional movies, like Godfather, only part 1 of course. Yeah, so Matrix, also only part 1. For the ladies, maybe Titanic or something. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, wrong target customer here, but okay, you get the picture. Like a really good cinema, So and like I have several ideas what I want to implement in that cinema. For example, in between the movie, especially like Titanic, like 3-hour movie, there's a break. And before that break, like before the movie starts, you can order, for example, a lunch or a beer or I don't know what, champagne or whatever. Okay, so champagne. So and to actually like I would bring that to you, or like there were waitresses or something like that. So and they would bring that to you during the break. Okay, so really good service, So that's what I would like to do. So like I would like to do that as a business case, yes, but also like I'm really passionate about movies and cinemas, and that would be really great. So that's my idea, and that's kind of a product, right? Like that would be my product, like a cinema like that, and if that product is successful, then I would maybe build another cozy cinema, yeah, so something like that. So it's an idea. So, and I was wondering what kind of systems could I implement to actually get feedback on that idea. So once that's in place, so once I built the first cinema, and once I did the first movie sessions, so how do I get feedback? So, and actually when you look it up online, there are several rating systems, for example. So this is a rating system for hotels, like the star rating system. So and actually like there's a committee, like a board or something, yeah. So and you can apply for, please rate my hotel, yeah. So and then you can get a rating, and based on that rating, you will get like higher revenue or not, yeah. So that would be some kind of feedback. So you can actually apply for, I don't know if there's a rating system for cinemas, but I could apply for something like that. Okay, so. And also, like, I could ask every customer to actually give me stars on a scale from 0 to 5. So how good was it? Yeah, something like that. So, or how satisfied are you with the experience here in the cinema? Okay. So the problem with the rating system is actually, well, this is one problem. Okay. So this one, like 5 stars over here. Do I get? You don't see that. Okay. This one here, for example, has only 1 review, because whenever you see that, for example, in Amazon, okay, that's a lie. you never have a 5-star product or something. Because if you have something like that, it only has one review. If it has 4.5 or 4 stars, then it's excellent or it's okay. Everything else is crap. Okay? That's not really helpful for me for getting feedback, because like when I get something like that, well, yes, that's okay, but when I'm here, I don't know what to do to get better. Okay? So I only know, well, you're crap, or I'm okay, yeah, or excellent maybe. Okay? So that's not really helpful. Another thing with rating system is that problem here. So that's a Tornado Guard app, okay? That's in the App Store, like Apple App Store. So place a loud alert sound when there is a tornado warning for your area, okay? That's the app, okay? So and there are several ratings. Like the overall rating is a 4, and we know now it's okay. The app is okay, yeah. So 5 stars, many alert choices, very good UI, okay? So 5 stars, running great, no crashes, perfect. 5 stars, I like how you can set multiple locations, also very good. 1 star, app did not warn me about tornado. Oops. Okay? So even when I see, oh, I got on average, I got 4 stars for my cinema, there could be that 1 star which actually is well, telling, very telling for me, like where I get a lot of feedback. Okay? So, but you can't see it in something like that. So that's a problem with star-based ratings. Well, on my research, I stumbled upon that. This is the book with the so-called ultimate question, written by Fred Reichelt, who, well, surveyed a lot and tried to figure out how to get the best feedback from customers. So that is actually the ultimate question, what he came up with. So what do you ask customers in order to get the best feedback possible? That's the ultimate question. So, and this is the book about NPS, the so-called Net Promoter System. And that's what he invented, or what he invented, okay? That's a name around that ultimate question. So, let's do that. Please grab a pen and grab a post-it and answer the following questions. You please distribute that. Answer the following 2 questions on a 0 to 10 scale, where 0 is very unlikely and 10 is very likely. How likely is it that you'd recommend my cinema to a friend or colleague of yours? And just imagine you just saw a movie in that cozy cinema as I described it, okay? Just imagine, like, what do you think, it's a gut feeling, right? And I'm sorry, you can't do that, because you haven't heard the beautiful story of my cozy cinema. Yeah? Okay. Okay, second, so that's just a number between 0 and 10. Where 10 is, it's very likely that you would recommend it to a friend or colleague of yours, and 0 is very unlikely. And anything in between is fine, okay? So, the second question is, and that's free text, right? Why is that? Why would you give me that number? Okay? Just imagine how it was in cozy cinema. So why did you give me that number? Okay? Just take a minute and think about it. Okay?
You forgot this middle part.
I know. Next week.
The razors stop working.
When you're done, just put it up on the wall. I would say here, so everyone can see. Thanks. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Thank you. So let's see. Let's see what we got here. So we have a 7, we have an 8, we have an 8, and we have a 9. So that's actually very good. Like, thank you very much for that. That's
salesman you are.
yeah, thank you. Thanks. No, that's really good. That's really good. So, a now I have to read. So, different from other cinemas, can be had at home.
But experience.
Sorry, what?
But experience.
But experience can be had at home. Okay, because you have a sofa and it's cozy there and you kind of have a cozy cinema at home. Okay, got it? So I have to come up with some key feature which distinguishes it clearly from home. Okay, yeah, okay, maybe, okay. So the aid was very comfortable, great service. Oh, you like the service?
Yeah. I can't have that at home because I'm in an apartment.
Yeah, sure.
Restaurants,
Yeah.
like, joining.
Good enough, Sam.
Yeah, perfect. So I should take care of my great service because that's what made you give me the 8. And maybe if I can make it even better, the 8 would go up, right, to a 9 or 10. So maybe, I don't know. Okay. So comfort. Beer, intimacy, and film selection. Perfect. Okay. So it should take care of that. Yeah, intimacy. That's pretty strong. Like a good feeling. Maybe I can make it more intimate. No, I'm not kidding. That's a good thing. I mean, you wrote it like in capital K's. So here's a 9. Here's a 9. I love the comfy seats and great service. Just got distracted sometimes by the service. Okay. So I could ask a follow-up question right now. So actually it's a good idea to know who wrote it. So next time what I might do is ask you to leave your initials there, or even your name or your email address. Just if you want to do that, okay? If you want to give me anonymous feedbacks, totally fine. If you want to give me like the chance that I catch up with you and have a nice chat with you. For example, what actually was so distracting about the service? Were the waitresses too beautiful, or was it like the opposite, or was like what was it? Okay, or maybe the break in between was a distraction. So there's so many things I could think of here. What an distraction could mean. Okay, so it's a good thing to catch up. But other than that, awesome, perfect. Thank you very much for that. Perfect. So let's see what this is all about. Why I did that. Okay, so Fred Reichert. He wrote, on a 0 to 10 scale, how likely is it that you would recommend us or this product, service, brand to a friend or colleague? And he also said, I also instructed companies to ask at least one follow-up question, what is the primary reason for that score or for your score? Okay? This is exactly what I tried to do on this slide before with the cinema. Okay? Never mind that there is no cinema. It's actually a great technique. I come back to that later. Okay, so but that's the ultimate question. You can do it with almost everything. I do it with all my services. Like my services, for example, I sell training classes. Yeah, so I do it with those, and I give you an example later for that. Okay, so and you can do it with software you're building, with services. You can even do it on feature basis. Like you can ask for specific features or areas within your software. Yeah, you can ask for like that for your whole product. Okay, it's just imagine what you can do with that question. Okay, it's very adaptable to a lot of situations. Okay, so once you ask that, so you get a score, and the score is also called Net Promoter NPS, Net Promoter Score, but the S actually stands for system. Just be aware of that. Okay, so the Net Promoter Score is, well, it's calculated, and I'll show you in a minute what it's like. So the question was, so how likely was it that you would recommend this to your friend, colleague? Yeah. So, and it is on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is very unlikely and 10 is very likely. And what I see when I do that are those 3 areas here. So the first area is the 7 and 8s. Those are called the neutrals. These are satisfied customers. And this is an interesting point. We're not asking about how satisfied are you with that service, because I'm not interested in that.
Why is it a biased scale instead of?
I'll show you in a second. It makes more sense when you have the complete picture. Okay, so just see that it's the satisfied customers, and they are here. They are in the middle. They're not at the top. There's more to come here. and that's very important. So I'm not focusing on the satisfied customers. What I'm focusing on is the promoters, and that is the delighted customers, I would say. Okay? They're blown away. The difference is neutrals won't go out on the street and tell everyone how great that service was. Okay? If a promoter comes into my cinema and had a really great night, okay, and therefore he became a promoter of that cinema, he would go out and he would tell everyone, at work, at home, yeah, the whole family, he would invite the whole family, he would invite actually his friends to go with him to that cinema because it was so awesome and he wants to share that experience. Okay? Like, he's active, they are only passive, which is not a bad thing. If you ask a satisfied person about, like, do you know a good cinema around here? So they would answer, oh yes, I know a good one. It was very satisfying. Yeah. So, and I can show you if you want to. It's okay. So they're not active. You have to poke them so they actually tell you something. Okay. But then there are the detractors, and the detractors are the dissatisfied customers. The customers who had a very bad experience, and they are active too, like the promoters, but in the opposite direction. They would go out and tell everyone what a bad experience they had. They would go out of the cinema like, that was awesome, I can't, so bad experience, okay? They would tell everyone, okay? They would complain for days about that, okay? If they have a Twitter account or a Facebook account, they will share immediately their dissatisfaction with everyone they know. Immediately. Okay? They're happy to answer follow-up questions. Okay? So like in a negative way. Okay? Very bad thing. If you have 10,000 followers or something, a huge power you have there. Okay? So same what's true for the promoters. If they do it, wow, jackpot. Okay? If you do it with distractors, ooh, really bad. Okay? So now you know that there are 3 categories. You actually can put them, like every single one of them, in different categories. Okay? So it's actually quite simple to do that here. So, and that's it. That bucket is empty. This is the middle bucket. And that's the right bucket.
I'm biased.
Sorry, what?
I'm biased.
Yeah, but it's true, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I have only feedback from 4 people, and that's fine. But I have to work with that what I have. Okay. So I have 1 delighted customer. How awesome is that? Okay. That's perfect. Okay. The goal is, and I really mean that, I would concentrate on every single customer. First on the detractors, to do whatever is needed to make them not detractors and to make them at least satisfied. And then I would work on the satisfied to make them more of a promoter style. That would be my goal when I deal with that. Okay. Now you asked why it's not symmetrical. Yeah. So why don't you have like 7, 8, 9, and 10 like as a promoters, and then like 4, 5, 6 as satisfied and so on. Yeah, so I don't know. That's just the research they came up with. So they actually made a lot of they have a lot of surveys, and like big surveys, like hundreds of questions. Okay, maybe not hundreds, but dozens of questions, like long surveys, and they actually came like the big data analysis. So and they came out with, well, this is a question which relates to, well, why is it so important? We come to that back later. So, but they actually came up with, well, these are the 3 areas we're focusing on. Okay, and you can learn that when you have a look into my own experience. When you have a look into the text, like the free text in the follow-up question, you can have 1 follow-up question. You can have several follow-up questions. When you look in the text, you actually see that the 9th and 10th, like the words they use, usually you see the delightment. They had at least 1 key point, and they're really, like, they tell, wow, that was really awesome. Like, for example, I use Lego, like, you know, like the Lego pieces in my trainings. So, and that was like a key moment for a lot of people. wow, that was awesome. Like playing with Lego in your training, that was a wow. Okay? And I know, cool, okay, I should do that more. And yeah, should focus more on Lego, yeah, for example. Okay? That's just one idea. And you can totally see that even if you have a 6, they're not really satisfied. That even if they're above average, okay, like above the median, like the 5, okay. So even then, they're not really satisfied. Not in terms of what they tell me, okay. So it actually correlates to what I read. Okay.
Is it based on how much they vocalize? So even if you're satisfied, you may not vocalize it. But if you're not satisfied, you may be vocal about it. So is it based on that? The fact that you might, how much you would publish your happiness or unhappiness, the bias in the scale.
I don't get that. Who's publishing what?
I'm trying to figure out why the scale is biased. I know it's more involved than that, but I was just trying to think about it as how much you would publish your unhappiness versus your happiness.
I don't know. The only thing I know is like they had a lot of data. They extracted the essence. So and they came up with okay, the unsatisfied are like 6 and below. So and that's what they came
human
up with.
behavior research, basically.
Yeah, actually it is.
Yeah. I was wondering if there is, if that research spans over all cultures.
Yeah.
Does it work? Does it work differently with like the?
We come to that back later.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just.
Okay. So why is that actually important? To know that people recommend things. Because that's the ultimate question, according to Reichelt, right? So, the answer is, loyal customers are the best. If you have loyal customers, think about like Apple fans, yeah? So, or like Google fanatics, or yeah? So, like really loyal customers, if you have them, they are the best. So, why are they the best? They are the best because loyal customers come back more often, buy additional products and services, refer their friends, provide valuable feedback, cost less to serve, and are less price sensitive. And he wrote that book, and he explains really, literally, every single step of these claims here in one chapter. So if you want to have the details, I recommend on a 10 to a 0 to 10 scale, I recommend it with a 10 to read that book actually, if you want to know more about that. So, but I think for me it's very, very intuitive, like I get the picture, you know? So if you have a loyal customer, it highly correlates to the revenue you get out of a company. And this is all about recommendations. They generate the most value. So there have been studies, and the studies you can see it here. It's out of that article, also by Reichelt. The one number you need to grow. It was the first article way before the book was published. That was the first article, and this was the first research he did. So this is a three-year growth between 1999 and 2002. So, and this is a percentage of net promoters. So how many people do you have, loyal customers do you have actually? How much, what's the percentage? So, and you can see that there is a clear indication, indicated by the white bar, that there is a relation between the growth factor of a company and the way people recommend that company. And this is, I find that quite interesting. Like that's a very strong link here, okay? And actually, like especially in Australia, like I come from Germany, so especially in Australia, when I get recommended by someone, it's much easier to do business with other people than, for example, in Germany. In Germany, it's more about show me your CV, show me your experience, show me your certificates, yeah, something like that. Okay. Here in Australia, that's just my experience. Here in Australia, if you say, well, the Bernd, you can have him for a very good brown bag session, okay? So, for example, it would be much more easy for me to actually do more brown bag sessions, okay? So, if you would recommend that to another company, yeah, think about that. Okay? Think about your products. If someone would recommend your product, Hey, Ari, hey, that's very good. I bought a great house there, and it was totally easy. Very good. Wow. If you get that from, I don't know, like a celebrity or something, okay, that recommendation, very good. Okay. Talking about a bad thing, this is bad profits. And that's one of the reasons, I think the main reason, why you don't want to have detractors. And why I said my strategy usually is to get not rid of detractors, but I don't want to have them, and I want to turn them in satisfied customers, whatever it takes. If they had a bad experience in one of my trainings, and sometimes there are detractors, so then I offer them, okay, would you give me a second chance? So here's a deal. You come to another training of mine, and if that's also bad, you will get back the money from the first training. Something like that. Okay? Yeah. So I'm really generous in terms of like if that doesn't work, for example. So I try to think of something different. Okay? And usually that's a very personal solution, like an individual solution. Yeah. Like tailored to the needs of that person. Okay? So, but I try to do everything to not let him or her be a detractor anymore. Okay. Why is that? Because of bad profits. When I actually invoice someone and they had a bad training, then I would do bad profits here. I would earn money, but on what costs? Okay. Bad profits, a good example for bad profits are roaming fees for mobile phones. Okay?
Very good example.
So roaming fees, no one, it's absolutely unlogical why you should pay like an enormous fee when you go over the border in a digital world, okay? Where it's really not more expensive to talk from that end of the world to the other end of the world, okay? There's no reason for that, okay? Those are bad profits. Your customers are literally, they're pissed off because they pay for something and they don't get value out of it. You extract value out of them. But the relationship should be the other way around. I should generate value for my customers. If I generate value for my customers, then I'm good. Then they would recommend me. Then they're happy to pay even higher margins, like higher prices. Everything fine. When you do bad profits, when you concentrate on that, you extract value from your customers. And they will pay you back. For sure. Okay? With bad recommendations. Okay? Get the idea? That's why it's so important to try to prevent bad profits. A lot of business models, like price structures, they have some kind of like a black spot, where you see bad profits. So, and it would be so easy to get rid of them because they are only I don't know 1 or 2% of the overall profit. But if you see the whole system behind that, what that means in terms of recommendations, it's so bad. Yeah. Look at for example, the mobile phone price structure of Telstra. Yeah, so you can see a lot of bad profits there. So just one example. Okay. Bad profit. So what is the NP score, like the Net Promoter Score actually? It's a formula like that, but not like that. That's a formula for NPS. Okay. So and because like whenever you introduce a formula, you know that you split your audience by half because like you lose a half of the audience. Okay. Every time you do that. Okay. So therefore, one after another. I want you to calculate the Net Promoter Score for that feedback over there. Okay. So count the promoters, neutrals, and detractors. Let's do that together. What would that be?
4.
1 minus 0.
Count the promoters, the neutrals, and the detractors.
1 by 4.
One promoter.
Say again.
One promoter.
25%.
How many are these?
There's 4 on them.
How many neutrals are there?
3.
3. Okay. And how many? Okay. Really slowly. Okay. How many promoters are there? 1. Okay. So you have 3 and 1 and 0. Okay. Those are the 3 numbers. Okay.
1 minus.
Now subtract the detractors from the promoters. How many detractors do we have?
0.
Zero. How many promoters do we have?
1.
Okay, so what's the result?
1 by 4.
No, one, just one.
Yeah, okay.
Just one at that point, okay? So, then divide the result by the number of all votes. That would be?
4.
What? All votes would be 4, yes. But what would be divide the result by the number of all votes? What's the result of that? Say?
1 by 4.
Yeah.
0.25.
0.25, yes, yeah, exactly. So, then multiply the result with 100.
25.
25. You got the number between minus 100 and plus 100, and that's the NP score, and that's it. So that would be a net promoter score of 25. Okay? So, and this is actually the net promoter score, a range between minus 100 and plus 100. So whenever you hear a net promoter score of, I don't know, like say minus 80, you know, maybe not so good, okay? If you hear a net promoter score of plus 80, I'm like, hey, yeah, that's good. Okay? Yeah, that's the idea.
So it would have been a 0 if there was not a single promoter.
Exactly. So if you don't have a promoter and you don't have a detractor, it's a 0. Okay? So that would be in the middle. Okay, and that's it. So we come to the score back later. It's just at that point I want you to be able to calculate that score and to know how that score was made up. Yep.
So this system, detractors are always 0 to 6. And that
Yes,
that
yeah,
will
yeah.
never change.
It's always. If you have another system like that, it's you can have that. You can have a from 0 to 8 or something if you want to, or from 0 to 4 or whatever. It's just not the net promoter system.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Is this scale, so once you get this number,
Yes.
minus 100 to plus 100,
Yeah.
is that scale linear? Is it
Linear? No. Why?
Like,
Why should it?
so if you get a minus 40 versus 40, is it equally bad or does it make sense to?
And so if you have a one number and a lower number, the lower number is more bad than the higher number. So that's what you can always say. So, but we come back to that later, how you interpret that actually, okay? And what you do actually with that number. At that point, I just want you to calculate it, or be able to calculate it, okay? So, well, that might not be of interest for you, but there are a lot of companies, and those are just the like a few big ones. There are a lot of companies who are actually doing that, especially Apple. I was surprised when I found out that they, like the Apple retail store, they heavily invested in the net promoter system, and they actually, like they got a huge boost when they focused on the customer experience. That's why you have sometimes, and it happened to me once, like I broke my, what was it, iPad, iPhone? I don't know. Like
iPad.
The iPad. I broke the iPad and I brought it to the App Store and I said, yeah, I might need to get a new display here because it's broken. It was totally broken. So, and they said, how long do you have it? I said like 6 months or something. So it's actually quite new, but yeah, but it was my fault. So I just dropped it on a stone floor. So there was no way it could have survived. So yeah, they just want you to repair it and just tell me what I have to pay you for that. So they said, well, what would you say if I give you that one? And I said, so what do you want to have for that? So, and he said, do you still want to pay me for that? I said, yeah, sure, of course, but I'm confused by that question. I said, no, it's okay, it's a gift. Just so you had a bad experience with that one, so, and just tell everyone that you got a new one. And I was like, wow. And I told everyone, because I was absolutely delighted by that experience. It was my fault, totally. So, and they said, no, but it's okay, we take it. It can happen, and we don't want to have a bad experience just because you broke your iPad. Wow. Okay. So, what do you think? That made me, well, maybe an Apple fan? I don't know. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Let's have a look into Agile. So, why is NPS? I'm an Agile guy, like through and through. I have an Agile mindset, and I'm really thinking Agile from morning to evening to in the night. I dream of it, and so on. Okay. Really through and through. So why do I dream of you today? Promise. So why am I so delighted by NPS actually? Why do I think it's such a good thing? Because I think it's a perfect tool fitted to, it fits into that system. You know that? The Agile Manifesto? Yeah? Agile, you can look it up under agilemanifesto.org. Yeah? So, and, well, if you know it, you know that on the left side are all the things which has higher value than those on the right side. And there is value on the right side, but the left side is more valued. Okay? So, and when you look at that, and when you now that you know what NPS is, when you look at that, responding to change, customer collaboration, working software, individuals and interactions. So immediately I would say, wow, customer collaboration. That's a feedback loop I can create with an NPS system, which is really strong with the customers. I can do that whenever I release, for example. I can ask the customers, like a week later, so how would you recommend that software right now? Okay, so strong feedback loop. I calculate the NPS. I get an indication of the change over time with the NPS. So I'm more interested in getting the NPS up, regardless of where I start. If I start at a 0, or even at a -20 or whatever, okay? So when I start there, that's fine, that's good. When I start at the 25, that's okay. Next time I want to be maybe at 30, so that's my next goal. So what can I do to actually get maybe one more promoter and one less satisfied? That sounds strange, but actually that's what I want, okay? Yeah? What can I do? So, and then I would have, like, in that scenario here, I would have immediately like an NPS of 50, okay? Just with one convert, okay? So that's customer collaboration. I listen to the customer, I read what they write, why do they give me that number, why would they recommend me on that level? So, and then I respond to that change, actually. There are a lot of interesting things you can get out of that. A lot of interesting things you haven't thought about. Oh, that's what you're worried about? I never thought about that. Okay? Oh, that's an easy fix. I can totally do that. Here, look, now it's fixed. What do you think? And the guy is delighted. Okay? Sometimes it can be that easy. Okay? Responding to change. I see responding to change here. Okay? So, working software. What does actually working mean? It works on my machine? I don't think so, right? So, working means it works for the customer. And that means it's valuable for the customer. If it's not valuable for the customer, if I extract value out of it, bad profits, you know that now? Okay? So, it's the NPS, I can use that to have an indication, so how workable, how valuable is that software I create here for my customers? Okay? So I see a lot of correlations between NPS and the Agile mindset here, the Agile value set. So that's why I'm so excited about the NPS. Okay? Okay. Let's have a look into two systems. You know those two systems? Can you name them? Say it loud.
That's Scrum.
That's Scrum, exactly. So that's a very rough sketch of Scrum. Okay? So do you know that one? Build, measure, learn cycle. Pretty sure you heard about that. Lean startup. Yeah. So that's at the very core of Lean Startup. You build something, then you measure it, and then you learn about it, and you want to have, you're interested in not in profit or something, you're interested in learning something. Okay, that's the idea. So I think the NPS is perfect for products of all kinds. So it's, for example, just one example, you could use the NPS even if you don't have a product and you just have a product idea. Just let people imagine they would use your product and then ask them, so would you recommend that actually? Like I did with my cinema, okay? So even if you don't have any idea, and you can get feedback in 15 minutes. That's fast, that's a very fast feedback loop, okay? So, and of course, when you do Scrum and you deliver every 2 to 4 weeks, you have a potentially shippable product increment. Horrible word combination, but never mind. So if you have that, so you can, every time you actually ship that to the customer, you can ask them, well, what do you think about that? Would you recommend that? Okay? Every time ask the same question. And over a time you will have a graph, and that graph shows you if it goes down or if it stays even or if it even goes up. Yeah, so, and you can use that data for example, for retrospectives. Yeah, so to improve your process, you can use that in a review, like in a product review session, or in a backlog refinement session, to actually work on your product. So you can extract value, like a lot of value out of the written word, not only the numbers. The numbers are just an indicator. You have to dig down deeper and you have to see the words to actually get meaning out of it. Okay, so what does it actually mean? But you see how you can incorporate the NPS in, for example, Scrum or in Lean Startup. Yeah, so those are just a few ideas. Okay. Okay, I will give you more ideas. Okay. Yeah. You have a question? Yeah.
I actually do. So what if you have a number of parameters that you want to measure NPS based on? So
Say it again. Yeah.
You've got a number of ideas that
Yes.
you want to measure them. So can you combine that as one question?
I would say express your idea, like talk briefly about one idea, and then ask everyone, please give me a number and why do you give me that number on that idea. So and then move on to the next idea, one idea after another.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Or you have a combination of idea and you want to get feedback of all of them because they make sense in a bundle. You know, that's the difference between asking about a product or asking about a feature. Okay. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So this is a flip chart, and on that flip chart, that's the flip chart I show at the end of every training I do, every training session I do. So like after the 2-day training, I ask them how likely is it that you will recommend this training class to a friend or colleague. So I just sketch that. I don't give any indication what's good or bad, yeah, because that's you might get better results, but it's not actually helpful. Okay, so and I ask them why, and that's it. I don't explain NPS. You don't have to do that. Okay, so just ask them that. So and do it without giving any hint, because you want to have serious feedback. Okay, if you are working in a consultancy, for example, and you would get a bonus for everything you do, like for a better NPS or something, you might say, I need that bonus, so please, I can't get the bonus if you don't give me a 9 or 10, so could you please give me a 9 or 10, and please don't write any negative things, just express it positively if you think something is negatively. Okay, please, my children, okay? Yeah? Okay, it doesn't work, okay? So it's only good for you or for your product. Just be careful when you do it in a corporate environment where incentives are in place. Okay. So, and this is usually how I arrange them afterwards. It's on the same flip chart. You can see the flip chart underneath there. So and then I make a photo of it. So that's one idea. Okay. So and after that I use that to fill out a sheet. And that sheet actually here's a score. And it's I think 15 people were involved in this one, so they're ordered, yeah. So and this is the NPS. It's automatically calculated when I fill that out. It's automatically calculated with an indication, and I send that to the customer because my customer usually wants to know if he invested his money well. So and this one I would say yes, that was okay. Like NPS of 60, yeah, that was good. That was a good training class. Yes. That was a good investment of your money, I would say. Okay. So I also on the second page I give him a rough. Don't read that. It's just an info sheet. Yeah. So what is an NPS? Okay. So that he actually knows how to interpret the data. Okay. And for myself, so that was a customer side. For myself, I also put that in an overview. That training class is called actually Agile Overview. So and so here only it's a sample of that. It's a number of scores, only 25 here. So and I put all every time I get a rating like an NPS. So I put it in that in that sheet. So here are the details about the sponsor, the customer, and so on. So and here's my overall Net Promoter Score. So, and then I do that with all my trainings. And at the end, I can see this is training, the one product, the training Agile Overview. This is product B, C, D, and E. So, and here's the NPS over the last 12 months, and I actually can well, actually adjust that. So if I want to see the NPS over the last 6 months, okay, so I can also adjust that. So, and then I can see, I should really focus on that training because it seems to be very good. Like the reception of that was very good. Yeah? And maybe I should stop working on that. Okay? Maybe. So if that was only one go, yeah, and that was the first experiment of that kind, okay, and I got an NPS of 16, I'm pretty happy about that. Okay? Like everything above 0 is pretty good for the first time. Okay? So that means that maybe for the next time I could get an NPS of 30 or even 40 or something like that. So and then I know, okay, I should really invest in that because it's a high growth curve. Okay? I just want to give you an idea how I play with the data I get here. Okay? And what decisions I do based on these data. Okay? Does that give you an idea? Yeah? Okay, good. So you also can use it for large meetings. So whenever you have a meeting, you have, for example, a retreat, you go away for a day or two. So at the end of that meeting, just ask the ultimate question. So, and you get a feedback on that meeting. So how well was your time invested here? Okay? And an alternative to that, you might have heard about that, is the so-called ROTI. Return of time invested. That's only for small meetings. Like for example, I could ask at the end here, I could ask about ROTI, okay, because it's just an hour meeting. So, and I don't want you to write like I don't know, like 2-3 minutes. So if you just one cross here, okay, so on a scale from +2 to -2, where -2 is, well, every time I would have done, like if I would invest that time with anything else, like scrubbing the toilet floor with a toothbrush or something. Okay, so that would be better invested than the time I spent here. So, and +2 means, well, it was awesome, it was perfect. Okay, I don't know how I could invest my time better. Sorry. Okay, so you could do that. So and usually I ask everyone just one cross each. You know that? Monty Python. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Then there is eNPS, the so-called eNPS. E stands for employee. So every employee could ask his or her colleagues to actually, well, how likely is it that you would recommend me as a colleague? Yeah, to another colleague or friend of yours? And the much more important question, why is that? And you really can write a lot there, okay? But that's a great thing if you get that like feedback system, like that's a peer feedback system. Yeah, so if you can establish that, so and it's not for the organization. I highly recommend not distribute that data around in the organization. You can set up a system so that the organization are not aware of your ratings there, of your results, because as I see it, the eNPS should be just for you. Okay, because you can use that data to actually work on yourself. Okay? On your personal growth, if you want to do that. And I totally get if you're in the middle of, I don't know, like you're absolutely not free at the moment to think about your personal growth, about how you improve yourself at the moment because you're working on that very important product and you really are like heads down there. So, and totally fine, okay? No one should blame you for that you don't want to have feedback. But just an idea, if you want to get feedback, it's easily set up, very easily. Use my recommendation would be a Google spreadsheet and use the survey. There's a form generator there, so you could use that as a survey tool. Yeah. So and just invite you could try it with your 3 best colleagues. Yeah. And just ask them. So what do you think about me in terms of? And then just ask that question and ask the second question. So why would that be? Why would you give me that number? Okay. Just an idea. That could be a start. Okay, here are a few actions you can take with NPS in Agile environments, and some of them you already heard, and some of them might be new, but that's just more inspiration how you could use NPS in Agile environments. That's what it's all about, right? You can get feedback from potential customers about your product idea. We already had that. You can implement the continuous feedback from customers about your product. Like not only the idea, but you already have an established product, you can implement the feedback there. We already had that too. That. Okay. Get feedback from attendees about large meetings and workshops. Do a retrospective with customer feedback as data. Okay. Do a backlog refinement session with customer feedback. Get feedback from practitioners about learning sources. So I heard about your book club. So how awesome would that be if you would ask them, so how likely is it that you would recommend this book? So you could actually make a list, a prioritized list of books where the most recommended book is at the top and the least recommended at the bottom. So how awesome would that be if you have some kind of resource pool like that? Okay, just an idea. And you can do it with books, you can do it with blog posts, you can do it with, I don't know what, videos, whatever. Okay? Let every employee contact promoters and detractors. How many people in your organization are actually in contact with the customer? And if they are in contact with the customer, do they know if they are dealing with a detractor, with a promoter, with a neutral? Because that's totally different. If you talk to a detractor, wow, you have to have a thick skin. You know what I mean? Like if you talk to them, because they can be really angry. So. And also, like, do you know what really delights your customer? Have you ever talked to a customer who was really delighted by your service? Do you know what that delights them? You can identify weak and strong features and products. Yeah. Just list them and compare the NPS with them. Also the development of the NPS. Okay. Visualize company-wide your customer feedback and teach everyone how to read it. The terminology here is open books in terms of NPS. Do you actually know what areas of your product are rated in what way? So what works and what not? Do you have that data? Is it somewhere out there? Can you see it every time you want? Get feedback from colleagues about you as an employee. We already had that with eNPS. Okay. So, and then last but not least, use feedback from colleagues to grow. Example, via personal coaching. Yeah? It's actually a very good idea to actually have a personal coach, like a neutral person who is there to help you, yeah? to facilitate your growth. Yeah? So to actually present the data and actually go through the data with your personal coach. Great idea. Okay. So, do you know myth? Oh, that's a bad word for a German tongue. Myth or truth? Do you know that? Yeah? So it's actually, it's kind of a game. So would you please stand up? Thank you. So this side is the truth, okay? No, this side, there's the light. Like the light, the window, okay? So this side is the truth, and this side is the myth, okay? So I present you statements, 1 minute. I present you statements, and you decide whether you think it's a truth or it's a myth, okay? And then we see what's going on here. Okay? Is that okay? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Do you guys want to start?
A product has an NPS of 80, therefore it's certainly market leader. Is that a myth or a truth? Yeah, just go.
Oh.
Here's the myth,
That's the myth.
and that's the truth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you're undecided, go at the end of the table. Perfect. Why do you think it's a myth?
Could be the wrong question asked.
Could be target audience.
Yeah. But well, maybe it was the right question. Let's say it was the right question, and you asked the right audience.
There could be a better one.
Exactly. It could be a better one. You could be the least best product there because you only have 80. So it's a myth, and here's why. Okay. So everyone, like that's the 60. Your NPS is 60, so what? Okay? So this one is 65 or 68, this one is 82, this one is 75 or something, okay? You're the least best one. And usually you don't have that data. Okay? Maybe you're in such a good market that you actually can figure that out, but usually you're not. Okay? Can I do one more? Okay. 2 independent trainer, just an example, trainer. Having NPS of 20 and 60, the one with the 60 is a better trainer. Myth or truth? Truth is over there. Oh, that's interesting. Very good. Why do you think it's a myth?
Because I don't know the questions, like what feedback is actually kind of given that score. I don't know what whether it was the same topic.
Mm-hmm.
They could have been lots of satisfied.
Yeah.
customers.
Yeah.
Whereas, like Matt said, some of the detractors on the 60 side could be really harsh with their criticism.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about truth?
I'd say 2 scores there, so I think overall, 60 is better.
20 is definitely going to hurt you.
Is what?
It's going to hurt you.
yeah, maybe 20 could be good. Depends on the market, right? So, the thing why I would call it a myth,
Oh.
what I would call it a myth, is you can't compare MPS without common ground.
Oh, but
So if I as a trainer asked you about the MPS, I might have a slightly different way to pronounce like the question, you know? And that could make a difference, okay? So if I do it always the same way, then I could learn from my NPS. But if you would ask the same question, they could get it a little bit differently. So you could get like worse scores, okay? But that doesn't mean that you're not better than I am. Because if we want to know if you're better than I or other way around, we should ask Matt to actually, he should ask everyone the question, okay? So like a neutral person, like a common ground, yeah? Or we could ask the company to do that for us, like outsource that, okay? So, and then we could compare our things because they always ask the same question.
So is it just about asking the right question, or is it like, if for example, we compare estimates from one team to another, we can't do that without saying that team is faster because they might have a different measure of estimates, but it's a different thing because, as you said, it's just about how you ask the question because the question should always be the same?
Yes. It's the same thing like in science when you do experiments.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to eliminate all the unnecessary variables in an experiment, and you need to be very careful to do that. Okay, so if you're not careful with that, so you end up with 2 experiments. They seem to be the same, but they're not. You have different outcomes.
But would you still say the same if, for example, you compare your agile training with a swim coach, and the question asked is the same thing, but then again the context is totally different. So again, that's a variable that is different, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Or like how happy you are, kind of.
The question is the same.
Yeah.
It's just how you deliver it, I guess, in the end, right? You can only learn, like, it's easier to keep it constant when you're asking the question every time and learn from yourself rather than...
It could be, like, the difference could also be, like, I use a flip chart, he might not.
No, that's right.
And that's it, okay? So you're more, maybe you make visual people more happy about that and they're more delighted just by having it visualized. That's it, okay? So, and that's just one thing. So just keep in mind, don't make a competition out of it, okay?
So it's like a self-improvement tool more than comparison.
Exactly. So let me skip a few things and come to the end. So, and you knew that this was coming, right?
Yeah.
So I want to get feedback on that session, please. Okay. So on a 0 to 10 scale, how likely is it that you would recommend this session to a friend or colleague of yours? That's number 1. And number 2 is, why is that? Just use the same mechanics you used with the MPS before. Just put it up there on the whiteboard, and thank you very much for being here today. So this is actually the very last slide. Did I get that one? That one. So if you want to contact me, there are my contact details. If you want to contact me and you don't want to write it down, please grab a business card here. If you want to contact me later for any follow-up questions. And, well, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bernd.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.